don't have to worry about a thing. We're a quarter century in episode numbers of the way here so far. Of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. I am your host, Sammy Blanchette, local Ludlow, Vermont musician and host and producer of this show. Thank you, Okemo Valley TV, once again for providing this platform and making this all possible. And I'm feeling nice and comfortable. I've got 3 layers on today because it is chilly. And I love this fall weather. I can absolutely dig this year round, besides being a full-time skier. So it's a great outdoorsy segue to our guest today, park manager at Plymouth State Park at Echo Lake, right up the road from Ludlow. You could find her and her significant other, Chris, on vagabondway.net. And I believe, according to the internet, she has an art and outdoor leadership degrees from Buffalo State University. I welcome everybody, the very fun and high energetic energy, I can't speak right now, Tiffany Soukup. Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at all of our notes we have here again. Just showing everybody we're pen and paper here.
Yes.
Just doing all this. Yeah.
Perhaps that says something about our age.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Kids nowadays will not understand pen and paper. So what's going on? Obviously, we know each other from volunteer efforts over the years and just being involved with the community. But just start with the audience. Just give a little bit about your background. So.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. So I go by Tiff or Tiffany. Either one is fine.
The internet, Tiff.
The internet, yeah. It's a pleasure to be here. So
Pleasure to have you.
I have been started in Vermont State Parks in 2009. Chris and I both originally grew up in Western New York, south of Buffalo. We met at Buffalo State University. Yes, I do have a degree in art with a focus on outdoor leadership and recreation, which I got at Northern Arizona University.
So happy Facebook didn't lie. I'm so happy it didn't lie.
That's right. And we found our way. The Green Mountain State had called us for many times, and found our way here. And it's been 5 seasons now at Camp Plymouth State Park.
And we chatted about this over the time. But did you guys just do weekend trips to Vermont when you were hanging out in college back in the day? Because that's like a long haul from Buffalo, right? To get out this way.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, we very much kind of like to go. We did not is the answer. We just had our eye on it for just so long with this feeling of like, when is it going to be the right time to go to Vermont? And it was when we had gone to Gettysburg and gotten the most cutest apartment ever because we wanted to continue working. We had done wilderness therapy for 1.5 years, and then we had lived in a van in New Zealand, in a car in New Zealand for about 1 year. So we really wanted
down by the river,
pretty much. And we went to Gettysburg, and the job did not work out, and so we were like, what are we gonna do? And we had been looking for all these years at the Vermont Youth, actually backdoorjobs.com, and at the time the Vermont Youth Conservation Corps had a partnership with Vermont State Parks, and we said, that's it, we gotta go for that, and we did, and we communicated with our landlady, and it all worked out, and we got our full deposit back, and we were able to move out, and that was our segue into Vermont.
Was it initially like a major shock with all that, with all those emotions going on, or did you already have in your mind that hopeful backup plan thought of like, oh, well, we're in a tough transition, but now is the time to go to Vermont like we originally thought or planned?
Good question. I would say that I feel at least like a lot of life, like we kind of have our best ideas of what we think we want or what's going to happen. And then it
all depends on the execution, right? Actually like putting it,
and so then it's like I think it's like sometimes I think Chris and I both, we've always just been like big believers of like follow that energy, and it's like ultimately what makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And we just knew like we had to follow that energy, and Vermont had been on our mind for years and years, and so that was the boop. All right, it's time, and then that manifested.
Was there a particular experience, great point, by the way, on that. Was there a particular experience when you both were younger that said, hey, this is what I want to go to college for, to like develop a career into it and learn more about, outdoor leadership and recreation?
No. No. No, I mean, I work because I can, I'm going back to think about my young self. Like, no, I had really kind of, not much idea. It's not that I didn't have not much idea what I wanted to do, but I certainly, I think like a lot, like,
we all have like that pressure of what we want to
exactly,
do.
Yeah. And I felt
especially with financial institution pricing, obviously.
Yeah.
A
lot. Yes. And I had, I had really, like, my parents weren't like, please go to college. I just was like, oh, I think this is, what I quote unquote should do. Right. At that time, thinking like an 18-year-old.
And in reality, we really have no idea.
Yeah.
We're still young enough, mentally.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just, that became that trajectory. And then, which I did complete. Right. But, yeah, I mean, all things lead to where I am now, so I wouldn't redo anything.
Absolutely.
In that. So,
did you have any other thoughts or still of what you would want to do in case a change of plans, like right now, currently in this moment, like for you both, like went back to school or just change a career? Like, would you have anything or?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Another good question.
Astrology. Meteorology.
Well, the thing is, when it gets dark, I go to bed.
Where it's kind of like being a meteorologist or astrology. You kind of have to be up 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's like that Seinfeld episode where like George was talking about like, hey, this lady asked me to come upstairs at midnight for coffee, which means, leading into something else.
Yeah.
And he goes, his answer, nah, I don't drink coffee. It keeps me up. Too late to be drinking coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, it meant sex. I'm an idiot. Okay. So people who have coffee at midnight are people who work at NORAD, who are on 24-hour missile watch. So anyways, I digress.
But, sometimes we all miss the cues.
Yes, exactly. Way over the head. Yeah.
Missed opportunity there.
Over the beanie hat of yours. Yes. Yeah. And my lion's mane up here. Yeah. Anyways, yes, other careers you're thinking of before I interrupted.
Oh, well, I feel I am so grateful for the life I have, and I feel that I'm able to dabble in a lot of the things that bring me joy as it is. And so, working in parks, this has been a huge part of our life for 15 years. So I certainly see that remaining. Mm-hmm. And we also work with the Appalachian Mountain Club up in Maine in our winters, another organization that we really love.
And you guys stumbled upon that after establishing roots in Vermont?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because what we love so much about Vermont State Parks is it being seasonal for essentially summers only for the most part.
And what are the time frames again? It's Memorial Day to about now?
May-ish to October-ish.
Right.
So that we have that start and end date, which makes it very easy to be like, bye, go off and travel, and then say like, see you in the spring. And we had been taking our whole winters to travel. So we have spent extended amounts of time in Central, South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia as well. And we've taken some hiatuses and sabbaticals, like skipped a year to get summer in different areas of the world. And we which all was great. It can start to be a lot to go winter after winter after winter backpacking for 5+ months,
sure.
Taking all your things.
Yeah.
And then we started thinking like, ooh, we had some, our passion is wildlife photography and just like kind of exploring that. And Chris usually does the preliminary research of where we're going to go and what species we're going to try to see. We often pick destinations based on animals that we think have a higher chance of going extinct within our lifetime. So that was one of their big decisions, was to like make the commitment and plop it down to spend 3 months overlanding across Africa.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like incredible trip, and all of
now,
that.
I kind of jumping around with the travel questions I was thinking or whatever. You fly out there, obviously, right?
Yes.
You don't take like a really long cruise to get out there. Right? I don't even know if that makes it that far out to. You never know.
I never know. No, so we
got to avoid all the hurricanes. Shout out to the people in Florida and hope they're safe the next couple of days. But
we fly.
Yeah, fly. Yeah. Also jumping around. traveling. Do you guys, in your years of travel, do you have a favorite place that you have traveled to?
I was really wondering if you were going to ask.
Of course,
that. No.
yeah.
Well,
that was going to be that. I'm starting to like do, especially on like non-musician episodes of the Tasty Twist. Trying to do like a little segment called Rapid Fire, which would be like just random like different questions and everything. So I'm jumping into that a little early, but because you're so passionate about traveling, what has been yours and Chris's like favorite places or top 3?
Okay. Well, okay. So that's always a difficult question to answer because every place is so different for the reasons that make it.
You're saying
special.
it's an episode for another time,
yeah,
or a full episode.
However, one of our answers is that we really did feel a calling and a true love of Australia. We lived there for almost 2 years.
Wow.
We had the working holiday visa, which anyone mostly here. 30 and under for at least U.S. citizens.
Darn it.
I know.
Darn it.
There has been they've changed it. New Zealand, Australia, we can plus or minus 30-ish, 32. But we went there on the working holiday visa, 89 Mitsubishi van, and we just like went around and we loved it. So
did you give fist bumps to the kangaroos?
No.
Or the Komodo dragons?
If
they still existed at the time that you went down?
Well, just if maybe this might help somebody win trivia at some point, and you can remember that you're going to win trivia because of the Sammy B podcast. So
Family Feud style?
Komodo dragons.
Good answer.
Komodo dragons are only naturally found in one place in the world, and that's on about 5 islands in Indonesia, which we've actually also been there too. And they've gone through a lot of conservation efforts and different things. No, Komodo dragons live in Indonesia on 5 islands.
They're fairly dangerous species, aren't they? Like when aggressive or
like probably you could say of most any species, if provoked or bothered, then yes,
including humans,
they would be extremely dangerous. Yeah, I mean the saliva in their mouth is extremely poisonous. Like it would be very, very bad if there was a unintentional encounter. But that said, we walked right around a whole bunch of them, and awesome. Live and let live. And they're kind of used to being photographed.
Being outdoorsy, speaking of species, is there any particular animal / insect or anything that freaks you out just from the appearance or like the possible dangers if they attack your skin, like stinging, biting? I'll give you mine.
What's yours?
I'll give you mine and maybe you can like pin off of it. So I don't really like bees in general, especially wasps. Spiders, really not so much either too. And snakes have always kind of freaked me out. So definitely don't want to go near the big ones, like the anacondas. Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think for Chris and I both, neither one of us have any species that we're like, do not like, I will be startled just as much as anybody if I find a snake in my shoe or something like that. Or like pick up a log.
Well, maybe garden snakes are harmless, maybe. I think those,
I think mostly, if anything, I'm like, I just always kind of like hope like, I hope I never see an apex predator outside, like unintentional or something like that, if I'm ever really out there. But
I was at the gym this morning over at Okemo, and they had on TV as I was on the treadmill, Alien versus Predator. Never seen it. Never seen it.
Yeah.
But wild. I think it was near the end because that's when like the alien or the predator gets killed by the people as they're trying to like escape the thing. I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody that hasn't seen it, and I only saw like 5 minutes because that's what I had time before I had to go walk a dog this morning. Oh. You connecting all the dots to this story?
Yes,
is this making any sense? Yeah. Is any of the? It's like a person that says, "You know what I mean?" at the end of every other sentence. You understand where I'm coming from? Yeah. Okay. My father and I keep a close eye on that with some people. When they know that they repetitively every couple sentences say, "You understand? You know what I mean?" I usually end up being like the 80-20 rule with diet. No, I don't understand what you mean. If you actually explained what you want me to know what you mean, I will know what you mean. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Shift gears. Okay. So what are the months in Maine that you guys are working up there?
Yeah, so usually it's around the end of December until sometime into March. So December-ish to March-ish. And then the lodges themselves, and the lodges being, there's 3 off-grid backcountry lodges run by the Appalachian Mountain Club, and those dates run from the beginning of January until, again, sometime into mid-March, March-ish.
Are the tasks up in Maine much different than, and we could get into a day in the life of a park ranger or a worker, volunteer or paid, whatever. But is it much different compared to Plymouth State Park?
It is actually.
Yeah.
Because, yes. So Maine, it's like the lodges. So a couple things. It's like, yes, the work is much different because by default they're lodges. So there's a whole different, food is involved and all of that. It's similar.
Is it like bed and breakfast type vibe, sort of?
Yes, with lunch and dinner. So, and I would say actually, we also, on behalf of Vermont State Parks, ran Seon Lodge State Park, which is Vermont State Parks' only inn that they operate, and that is mostly open year-round to group rentals at the moment.
That's in Maine. You're talking about.
No, that's in. I jumped back. Sorry.
Oh,
that's
you
in
jump
Vermont.
back to
But the
Squirrel.
the main lodges are similar to Seon Lodge, and that Chris and I, when we were there, our titles were innkeepers, and so we did 3-course dinners, catering, food, all of that. And so in Maine, you're having, again, a 3-course dinner and all of that. So
you guys have the right personalities for that job.
Hopefully. Although Chris, I guess it's maybe balances like the yin and yang of the summer, much more extroverted, and then the winter for Chris especially. He's a groomer, a cross-country ski trail groomer.
Oh, is he? Oh, no kidding. Wow.
And so he's done it a lot with, there's a couple different ways. There's many ways.
So he's worked a bunch of the different cats, as they call it, the groomer machines?
Well, Maine, we do a lot of snowmobile grooming or a lot of cross-country ski trail grooming by snowmobile with a drag behind it. Because a lot of the trails are backcountry trails. They're not backcountry trails, but I mean, they're more small, skinnier trails.
I'm mainly curious about the hours. Is he working like night shifts for that?
Well, there has been no. The answer is no.
Yeah. Because as you know, the ones that work like on Okemo, for example, those are wild hours.
They're wild hours. Yes.
4 in the afternoon till like 8 in the morning.
So there's a few answers. One, lodge, because the trail they're in the groomer there is in a piston bully, and they will stay out more into the later hours. But just given that we are so remote in Maine, and that if there ever was a problem, they don't want to be out there like at those times, so they start more at like 5 in the morning or something.
You're talking like you're so far off the beaten path.
You're you're a snowmobile ride to the parking lot. You can't drive, you can't, and then you're still 20 plus minutes into town on a small. So
that's got to be wicked fun though for travel.
It's awesome. It's awesome, and then there's those moments where you're like, why am I doing this when it's so windy? But otherwise, Once
do you guys ever have a chance when you're up in Maine to travel back to Vermont during the winter just to check in on things? No, you're so busy up there.
Once you're in one spot, and then you're in the other spot.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that as far as the day in the life of a park ranger here in Vermont, and just living right on the property also as well too. I mean, that's pretty easy commute, Yeah,
I know, we really.
Yeah, but I've seen from volunteer efforts this past spring for the first time, you guys have so much going on always for the maintaining of a beautiful park like Plymouth State Park.
Thank you. Yeah, it's busy. All right, here, I'll just try to go rapid fire on the things.
On the tasks there. On the tasks at hand.
Right. This first part is optional. It's somewhat my choice because I didn't. If the geese are there, it's a lot of extra work, and I generally, as you know, it gets dark.
I should bring my dog there to chase him away,
please.
right? Yeah, please.
So personally, I get up early. We very much love we have a golf cart, but we call it Golfy. So very much the first thing.
How do you spell that? Remember we were like in the pregame, we were talking about the spelling of like first names.
Golfie, Golfy.
That's about as basic as it. Oh, it's capital G?
Yep.
Capital E at the end?
No, just capital G.
Just capital G. Okay.
And then we adorn it with a golden duck.
You're going to need that for a trivia question later on, everybody. So yeah. Yeah, at Killarney's with Rick Davis. Shout out to those guys, Killarney and Rick Davis.
We had such a lovely meal there the other day, too.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out Killarney's.
Yeah. Okay, so I get up quickly. I take the Gulfie. I go and I see if there's any geese. And then usually, depending on the day, someone will start at 8 because to get all the mowing done before people come in for the day. So the mowing or / raking of the beach will start at 8. At 9, everybody else comes in. The first thing we always do is bathrooms. It's almost always, at least, unless there's something different. But almost always it will be bathrooms first because that's one of the most important customer service aspects.
Are you talking about just where the rec stand is, or are you talking about the sites,
Well,
like the
it all
private
depends.
sites?
A lot of times I go over early and clean the campers' bathrooms just because it saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if there's any groups coming in and all that, because we'll have the 3 shelters there. So get all those bathrooms ready. If whatever needs to be ready for the people coming in, we rake the volleyball court, open the concession windows, get boats ready. People love to rent boats at Camp Plymouth. And then, people go to their stations. So somebody goes to the contact station, somebody goes to the boats and concessions, and then we're like, hello, welcome, and in they come. So it's not...
Now, do you guys decide that in a morning meeting? Like, when everybody comes in, do you all kind of decide, hey, you were there Monday, do you want to be here today? Do you guys kind of decide day of, or do you schedule that out like the week before? From a management end.
Yeah, so there's a couple things. So Chris and I will usually look at like a month of what's going on, and then week by week, because it changes so much, and especially the weather will affect it so much. So we'll have a rough idea.
We'll get into that part of it a little later on. Yeah.
I mean, but there's like when it's busy, there can be 5 to 7 groups coming in on any given day when all the shelters are rented, and then there's just like random Brittany's birthday party down at the beach.
Sometimes you get busloads of people too,
yeah,
right?
And we'll have busloads.
Yeah.
So the way we do it is everybody gets a list, and it's like if you were there, it would be like Sammy's awesome day, and it kind of says like these are your priorities.
World domination and awesomeness at Echo Lake. Here we go.
So then everyone knows like, okay, this is what I'm doing, or like once all the bathrooms, the things are ready, and then it's like, okay, Isaiah, you're weed whacking probably the rest of the day. Go, because
which is what he wanted to do anyways.
He wants
to weed whack it. Yeah.
Shout out to Isaiah.
Yeah, shout out Isaiah. If he sees this, he'll probably be like, oh, your name dropped.
Tiff.
Why?
What?
Tiff, why? Another selfie picture, Tiff. Jeez.
Yeah, everyone, they get the choice at the start. If they don't want their picture taken, they can say.
Right.
I'm like, it's fine. But if they don't say no, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. See, now, if you had me on payroll, Jesus, excuse my French, Christ, we'd be doing the selfies like every single day.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was all delightful.
Okemo Valley Community, shout out to that lovely page too.
Yeah. So good.
Anyways,
so that just
fire,
goes from there. And then, I mean, something that works out really nice is I'm usually hungriest first. I have first lunch at 10:30 or 11. If it's 11 and I haven't eaten my first lunch, I'm just like,
what's a go-to meal for you during the day?
anything I can get in my face.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, Cruffins. Shout out to the eatery by Vermont Bliss.
Oh my gosh.
Apple cider whoopie pies. John Michelle, thank you guys.
So delicious.
We don't have them on the plate with us today in this episode, but another time. We have coffee.
Yeah, we have coffee with our beautiful
coffee. Cheers.
Local
Cheers,
artist
friends.
with the B cup here.
Yeah, and an old school Okemo trail count. So I got this from working retail years ago. That's pretty fun. Do you guys downhill ski ever?
So
up in Maine?
We cross country ski. So yeah,
a lot less crowded.
Yeah, I mean that's actually something that's so nice up there is you can be out and just have over 100,000 acres of land.
How far up are you guys in Maine, like location wise?
From
let's say from
location,
let's say from like right near Portsmouth, like right when you get to like Maine via 95. Like how far in are you?
From here it's about 7 hours.
Okay.
Plus or minus.
Are you guys near and or around Acadia National Park or?
No.
No.
But a bit north. So Moosehead Lake region, Greenville region,
okay.
About 45, like hour-ish north of Bangor.
Gotcha. And not that far-ish from the Canadian border, I would imagine, probably. Right?
No, it's not that far.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit, but it's not that far.
Yeah. I've never skied in Maine, but I've always wanted to go to Sunday River.
Oh, yeah.
The big one. Or Sugarloaf. Sugarloaf gets like a lot of snow every year. But Erica and I, you may have seen the photos, we went to Booth Bay Harbor recently on vacation. You ever spend time down on the coast?
Oh, I saw your photos.
Yeah. I was about to say, how'd you miss out?
Yes, it looks so lovely.
The coast is beautiful.
Time on the
in
coast,
Maine.
not maybe exactly right there, but yeah, similar.
Right.
Like so beautiful.
Right,
So,
right.
Maine
Not
is
that
so
far
beautiful.
from Portland and Old Orchard
Yeah,
Beach. Those
yeah.
are also like famous spots
Really
down
nice.
that way also
Very
too.
lovely stuff.
Yeah. So, anyways, everyone's got the tasks, and you guys are open 10 to sunset,
Yes.
correct? But obviously, your day starts sometimes probably as early as 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, depending on what didn't get done the day before. The geese, the bathrooms.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm remembering.
Yeah. Yeah, and then from there, it's just, so I think I was starting to talk about lunch. Food.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
doubt.
Yeah, then I
Can't
said
wait
hot-
to have that with
then
me
I said
pie.
hot dogs with
But yeah,
mustard
so
relish.
pretty much based on everyone's shifts, we'll usually go from 8 until 8, sometime within that. And then we start lunch rotations between 10:30, and they will go up until 5 to get everybody, by the time everybody comes through. And then, yeah, we just really try to offer great customer service, and it's just a lot of things on repeat. We just go around and clean the bathrooms again, go around and put the boats up,
Yeah.
go around and pick up trash, go around and keep mowing. And we try to, the mowing and the noise is something that takes a lot of, we put a lot of consideration into because it is loud. So really trying to make sure, okay, a wedding or any group is coming in to rent a shelter. Let's make sure that's mowed the day before.
Or
So
leaf
there's-
blown.
Or leaf. Oh yeah, or leaf
blown,
blown.
yeah, or leaf blown.
Actually, when Sammy B, who again was a huge driving force in getting some real great volunteer efforts this season.
I take no credit, but yeah.
But yeah, would come to the farm and be like, oh, can you leaf blow here first, please? Because like a group's coming in, or leaf blow last over here because the group will leave by the time you make your way. So.
Right. Eventually, there's quiet hours for that. Like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Or just
and
go
then
way out in
end
the
of-
woods where no one can find you, and it's still a relevant area.
Yeah, and then it's just like all the normal kind of end of night stuff, take trash out, do all that,
right.
pick up all our lost and found, all button up, clean
Do you
up,
lose a lot of
restock.
I would imagine you lose a lot of car keys, cell phones, wallets every once in a while.
Yeah, well, something that's really nice about Camp Plymouth is just, we have a lot of high numbers of visitation, and people generally are so lovely about turning things in, and we, most of the time, I'd say more often than not, can reunite wallets, can hopefully try to reunite phones. And a lot of times people actually find them later in their bag. But we've had kind of some funny stories that ended up with happy endings, crowded beach day. And there's kids, families are running around everywhere. And a mom was like, go put my phone in my bag. And kid puts it in the wrong bag, a random stranger's.
Sure.
Stranger's like, I have a phone in my bag. Mom's like, my phone's missing. And this other woman's like, I have a phone. It's not mine.
There's like a Pokemon or a Mario emoji on the backdrop. That's not my phone. How is that? Can I interrupt 1 second? You mentioned how people are so friendly and everything.
Yeah.
That is kudos to you and Chris.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean that
you so
humbly,
much. Oh,
because
yeah.
Erica and I, not only the fact that it's convenient for us 10 minutes, down the road, we just love seeing you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And I would imagine it's why you have a lot of repeat workers that come back every season. I know there's a lot of people that come in and out because of life circumstances and everything, volunteer or on payroll, but it's kudos to your leadership. When I worked volunteer a couple of times, I was just like, hey, I love these guys. They're great personalities. This would be perfect.
Thank you.
I mean that in all seriousness.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, getting back to what were we saying? Phones, stuff lost.
Yeah, well, that
Yeah.
just it's just such a place in the community that so many people love and come to and take great care of and pride in as well. So it's just it's a real delight to work there in that sense.
That's awesome. With that being said, we should obviously segue, because I think you and I were definitely both tied into this as far as Facebook Messenger and just photos and stuff. The obvious nightmare of last July's flood and the closure, the recovery. Was it true that you guys were last summer, the only state park out of all 55 that were closed for the remainder of the season because of a natural disaster?
Yep. Yeah. And that's the first time in any recollection that's happened within Vermont State Parks. A park had to close mid-season so early and not reopen.
Right. And then it was also it was a mess from this past December also as well too, because I remember you actually said, hey, go over and check out what's going on. We were so close. It was December 18th 2023 that we almost had like another near catastrophic experience. I mean, so obviously the cleanup leading up to opening Memorial Day weekend this past year was chaotic, to say the least. I'm sure just everything that you saw, it had to be sad and shocking at first to see, right, when you guys first came back.
Yes. Yeah, you're like, oh, park. You're still so, you're still so missing many of your pieces. So, but everyone worked so hard to get that all back together. And again, shout out to Sammy B. Like a huge driver in the community
there was a lot of volunteers.
But you really. You were, let's say, wonderfully persistent that you wanted to come volunteer. But it made this whole volunteer day.
And I wanted to keep coming back just because it was fun.
And then you did. Yeah. Oh, my gosh, it was. And that was so, like, you were so helpful this summer. And, I mean, just so many people just, like, but, we had folks in our maintenance department down on their hands and knees at, like, 6. I didn't even know they were there yet. I'm like, it's 6:30 in the morning. And because, installers' schedules had to change, and so it's like we got to make sure like the material can accept the new material, and everything's going to go together. And I mean, there was
Crown Point Excavation. Shout out to that company, the main company that was doing a lot of that work, like repairing the parking lots, repairing the main roads for like driving and stuff, right?
They were the ones that did it. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So all that managing and like just making it had to be difficult, but. Besides the volunteers' efforts, I mean, you guys seemingly got so much open in just about like a timely manner. Like it seemed like, I'm sure the days were chaotic leading up to it, scheduling wise, but it almost seemed like you guys didn't like miss a beat, with the exception of like some other cleanup projects that probably lasted a few more weeks, right? I would imagine.
It's so lovely to hear that.
I'm only speaking from experience, from what I've seen,
Everyone just had such a like charge it and just try to make it all happen attitude. It's not until I really scroll back through to some of the photos on my phone and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what happened. That's what I like, but
what was the one what was the one recently you posted online about how there's still like a picnic table, like out, like in the distance?
Oh, yeah.
or like a canoe. Remember that one?
Yeah. So Chris, Isaiah, Connor. So one of our neighbors was so lovely and gave us permission to come to their property, and we were retrieving something else that floated away in the August kind of flood that we had this year, which fortunately at least wasn't as impactful. And while they were back there,
did
Chris
you guys
was like,
did you?
It raised the water a lot, and we
I think I might have remember. I mean, gosh, now it's early October. I feel like we actually haven't had a decent rainfall in like a month.
It's been a while. Yeah,
it's been nice. I like it. We've had incredible fall foliage, but I almost like completely forgot that happened in August. Right.
So we had a little item, go downstream. So we went to go get it, and then Chris was like, "There's another one of our picnic tables," and. If anyone has ever tried to move any of the tables at Camp Plymouth State Park, they're very heavy.
Very heavy. It's all hands on deck. Yeah.
And they like hauled it up a giant bank and through the woods, and loaded it on the truck and brought it back. And we're still recovering picnic tables over a year later.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, it's the all hands on deck, and especially the entire community and really the state has it really sometimes does take disasters, unfortunately, for everybody to come together fully as a community, which I am proud of how the community handled the responses from last year's events and everything. Tell us a little bit about the big events that you had at Vermont State Parks, at Plymouth State Park this summer, including a bunch of weddings. How did that all go turnout-wise?
Oh, delightful. So we're still in it, right? This is the Vermont State Park's 100th year. So that's a big celebration.
Yay. I know. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. They made a beer after you guys also too,
Yes.
Whetstone, right?
Which you can get at the
Brewfest Beverage Company, right?
Brewfest
Shout out to
in
the team
town,
over there. Yeah.
So it's the golden hour, very delightful Christmas present.
Yeah.
If anyone's looking for that,
Yeah, it's got a nice logo on it also too.
Oh yeah.
So
and a lot of times people don't know, but it's a sticker on the can. So when you get
that's right. You mentioned
can peel off the sticker.
You mentioned about that. That's right. I remember.
Little bonus there.
Little bonus there. Yeah, for your water bottle. Yeah. So, anyways, you're still got some weddings going on, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, they have wrapped up with us for the season. So, so that part's good. So yeah, just if anyone's wondering, remember what to do. The etiquette is to park in the dirt parking lot. Don't block the gate because people come in at any time. And just walk in from there. But yeah, we've wrapped up for the season. So just getting ready for next.
That's awesome. Any big event that stands out from this past summer that you've done differently from past summer, whether it's beer events like Weststone promoting the beer or food trucks? Was there anything different from the norm than what you guys have done in the past that the company signed off on to do?
The Whetstone Brewfest was probably the one that would stand out. The rest,
did it go over well?
Overall, yes.
Parks for Pints, whatever the event was called. Right. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, it rained the one day. So I mean, it was kind of truly a wash because it was heavy rain. It wasn't even like a light rain. It was pretty bad.
It's still a bummer. Anytime that there's rain, people they get depressed.
You don't come. Yeah. Well, not when it's raining that heavy.
No.
So the following day certainly then had some traction, and people were there for that event in specifics. No, but for us this season, right, it was just really just getting back up off the ground. We didn't have grass. The grass is still regrowing right now, but well into around July 4th is probably when the park started to look more park-like.
When you guys were reopening, and after the devastating events with the flooding last year, how many times did you have to test the water in the lake before it was pretty much good to go?
It was good to go last year, about 2 weeks after the flood. So we test every week.
That's crazy.
And Echo Lake is one of the cleanest lakes around.
Yeah, because it always gets filtered out from Amherst, just up the road also, too.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly are, I think many of us around those lakes, Moneybrook is still, when it rains heavy, like it did this past August, there was still a lot of erosion, and then that certainly, does brown up the water more, but the quality of the water is still always very clean. Appearance-wise, though, that Moneybrook is an ongoing what to do.
Is there some truth to if it rains more that the lake water is a lot colder? Is there some actual truth to that during the summer? But if it's really hot but it still rains, the temperature of the water would be cold. But if it doesn't rain, it generally warms itself up a lot more for swimming purposes.
Correct.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a scientist now. Yay. All right.
Ding, ding.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding. That's awesome.
Yes.
Hey, tell folks about ways that they can follow Plymouth State Park or Vermont State Parks for that matter.
Yeah.
The social media folks, the tech people.
Yeah. Well, so Vermont State Parks, as far as they go, they really keep a tight hold. There's one and only, which is the go to any of the socials there on Instagram or Facebook is Vermont State Parks. So that will be the official one to follow.
But Plymouth State Park does have one also? No, okay.
They really, because then it can get a little wild out there for all of them.
Yeah.
The other one that does work right alongside us is Vermont Parks Forever. They're a nonprofit. They are they provide a lot of access in various ways. So access in the forms of passes or giving it out to organizations or people, individuals that may not be able to visit the parks otherwise. They helped fund the accessible wheelchairs, projects like that. The Groton Nature Center up in Groton. Just a little bit north there, near-ish to Montpelier. So they helped. They were a huge funder with that. So they're another great one, and they were also directly involved in the Parks for Pints as well. So
Yeah, that's great that it goes to like good things. Definitely.
Yeah. So
I meant to ask you. You guys added a wheelchair accessibility path this year, right?
Everyone was so excited about that. Yeah.
How's that been going over? I mean, other than, is there a lot of foot traffic for wheelchairs that goes there now?
So I mean, that's kind of one of the.
Was there like a big request for it, or was that kind of something you guys stumbled upon that would be a good idea?
No, well, so a lot of those things kind of go to like the next layer there of level of
The
people
tier.
that think
The tier,
of,
the
yeah,
higher
of
ups,
all
as
of-
the
of
higher
them.
ups, as they
But
say.
certainly, and we're always striving towards increased accessibility, ADA accommodations, and so just going a lot like the goal is to just continue to implement those in all of the parks that
Enhance the guest
apply.
experience, as
Yes.
they say. Yeah.
So and Camp Plymouth, we do see quite a lot of wheelchair users. So and just a lot of accessible people with accessible preferences. So we're just very happy to have both those items put in, and it's just and our Birch Cottage is a fully accessible cottage with a ramp and all of that, and the shower is accessible. So it's just gonna keep on going. Yeah.
How popular do you think the state park is at Plymouth compared to others? Obviously, not looking for a rankings.
Oh, well, I
but-
mean, if we're gonna rank, the answer is very popular.
Yeah. Because there's some other big ones like up in Leicester. What's that one with Lake Dunmore? That is
There's
it Elmore State
Branbury.
Park? There's
Branbury is usually is kind of always usually the highest in amount of attendance. But
That's a beautiful area.
Oh, it is. And there's a lot of things around there. There's colleges, there's schools, there's summer camps.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes on and on.
Yeah,
so
you're not that far from Brandon and Rutland anyways, and Middlebury
They
also,
get
too. Yeah.
So they get they really pull in the numbers.
But anyways, back to sentimentalness.
Camp Plymouth usually will between the Memorial Day to Labor Day. Camp Plymouth usually hovers right between the third busiest park in Vermont.
That's awesome.
State parks.
That's awesome.
Right between, like plus or minus a little, but yeah.
Plus or minus over under, like betting like Vegas. Yeah. Guys, once again, you are listening here with Tiffany Soukup, the head honcho park manager at Plymouth State Park, along with her significant other, Chris. And again, follow Vermont State Parks via Instagram and Facebook. And for their stuff, vagabondway.net, right?
Correct.
You guys put your photography on there also, too?
Yeah. So most of our socials on many of the platforms, it's something as Vagabond Way or Vagabond Way Tiffany. Also doing a lot of YouTube videos, which I have to look at my SEO on that. So if you put my name in, Tiffany Soukup, you'll find it a little bit easier that way. But
Do you do reels and stuff too?
Yeah, reels, all of that. But yeah, we did have just working on the reels and the YouTube and stuff. So
how great has social media been from you in regards to promoting just the parks and existence too? Coming as someone that lives on social media nowadays for business purposes, so I have to.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's been so lovely, all the people that have been able to connect with through that, and that I think my hope or goal in it is sharing joy or excitement, or people that are also
which is how it always should have been, which is how the internet has always should have been.
Or some sort of maybe somebody didn't know this, or maybe somebody won't get a chance to go to Indonesia and see Komodo dragons on their own. So, here's a photo.
Or find a garden snake in their shoe, right? Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I take enjoyment out of that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like I mentioned before, you are a very positive role model to this community and in general. Just as my little note says, your energy rocks.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Okay.
Likewise.
Ready? Rapid fire. Was there anything else that you wanted to say before rapid fire?
Well, not yet, at least.
Not yet. Okay. Rapid fire. Go to music that you and Chris like listening to.
Indie.
To explain.
Like
Bands or like just the style?
Oh, that style. And like lo-fi beats. I like beats. I can listen to the same thing on repeat. So I like no words, and I just like the music. So
you like meditation music also too? Not just for sleeping purposes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't dislike it.
Right.
But if I'm gonna put
Erica got me
something
into
on,
it. It's very calm, like very good. Yeah.
I guess lo-fi beats is what I listen to a lot.
Sweet. Awesome. How about Chris? Same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. It's got to be good for outdoorsy mentality, I would say, right?
He actually listens a lot to the podcast, really, but yeah.
Ah, so he's going to like this.
He's gonna, he's gonna like Tiff.
Do you guys like sports? Professional sports or not really?
Chris, yes.
Yeah.
Chris, yes. I'm just
What do we got for football teams and baseball teams? What do we got from Chris?
He's always been loyal to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then he just watches other stuff. I'm like, what season is it? I'm just like, can we not plan anything?
Are there chicken wings involved? Are we going to a Buffalo Bills game?
I'm like,
They're known for their wings up there, obviously, by the way, so that's good, Yeah.
And then when the games get really serious, he's like, Tiff, you need to plan to be out of the house at like 2:00.
Or just go into your separate room and think about what you've done. I need to be over here.
Be quiet. It's a very serious game. I was just So Chris loves sports.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
what's his baseball team?
I don't know.
Because that's tough with state of New York. Because you've got the Mets and the Yankees.
What does he watch? Let's see. There's football.
What season is it? Yeah.
Well, it is football season. Oh, soccer. In soccer.
Messi?
Soccer.
Or I don't really know soccer. I don't speak soccer.
Yeah.
Who does? Who does speak soccer?
His brother does.
Right. Owners of franchises speak soccer.
Ballers.
Yeah.
You can check out his brother's soccer if you're in PA. He's running some leagues now, but and went to Europe. Yeah. So Chris likes sports.
Here's my takeaway from soccer. I always love, because it's like the biggest international sport in the world, right? Or one of the biggest ones, is when a goal is scored from a team and you hear the non-English speaking announcers just go, go, no. It's like a siesta. It's a party.
Yeah.
Hopefully I made sense with that. Okay. So sports, we don't know what season it is, but Chris, yes, Bills. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I like Buffalo for their chicken wings.
That's good.
Do you guys have any particular sports? Sorry. No. Wow. Wrong. Coffee. Shows, sitcoms.
Chris probably does.
What channel is it? Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together in small spaces, so we each put on our own headphones.
That's it. You're in your lane. Stay in your lane.
I watch a lot of I watch a lot of YouTube. Call it like inspirational or motivational video. Like I love listening to, Brene Brown, Marie Forleo, Jack Canfield, like all those types of things.
Cool.
And then I am, very much very happy and content with my life as a traveler and somewhat nomadic and all of that. However, I still do love to just watch or daydream, like if I could live multiple lives over. So I just love watching farmhouse cooking videos.
Does that go well with like the HGTV channel also too?
Probably.
Maybe.
I guess I
would
watch
think.
all my content. I watch almost everything off YouTube. So
yeah. And segueing back to social media. So even if you don't sit down and watch full 21 to 30-minute episodes like the old days with commercials and everything, you have reels and shorts.
Yeah.
So you could just scroll for hours. It's like it's the same way of like consuming media or whatever.
Yeah. So I try to limit that. Like I have to do my chores, and then I can do the 20 minutes of like scrolling, because I just who doesn't love a little cat video?
Or a puppy video, like a Labrador, like look at this one. Where we go?
So but and then I've really ebbs and flows. I don't know if anyone else is like this. I'll be like, no screen time before bed, and I'll hold to that rule.
No,
for a
I don't.
while.
I don't exist with those people. No, that's like
And then
that's like what's that other saying where it's like, hey. If they tell you like, oh, you bought another pair of skis or you bought another guitar, move on from them. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. If you bought another snowmobile, you don't need that kind of negativity.
But so that's what I watch.
That's great. Hobbies. You guys have any favorite hobbies outside of what you do for a living?
Well, I guess it does kind of blur the lines together, but we do really love photography. So it's just like, it's the outdoors, I suppose. Yeah, that's just like our life. Like, we're going to love taking photos, love.
You guys have high advanced cameras that you use? Or just right off your phones? Because, I mean, these do the trick also, too.
The phones are amazing. And I will say I've actually started taking a lot more photos than I've been sharing because it's just so easy. I can just do the...
I couldn't tell according to the internet. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. But we do have, some decent...
I can't wait to see the follow-up photos that we took today for this podcast. I know. As we're staring at the teleprompter. Yeah.
But we have like the Nikon, D800 and D71, which are, decent cameras. Although they're also quite heavy. So eventually we are still thinking about possibly...
Hence why these things are great.
Yeah, going mirrorless. But
remember old school, speaking of writing everything down on paper? Yeah. Remember the old snapping photos where you had to twist the little black circle and it said, hey, you have 25. It goes like what? 25 dot, 23 dot, 21 dot. 19 dot. Yeah. It's like they like just odd numbers and not even numbers. Yeah. And then you had to go to the younger people who are 18 and younger. Seriously, this is tough existence, 35 and older. Yeah. You had to go to Walmart a week and a half or 2 weeks after to get the old school type of like paper photos that are not environmentally friendly anymore. And then you had to like stare at them at home and then put them on your refrigerator with a magnet. Yeah. So... Yeah, good times.
That's all true.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. I also learned the typewriter and the old landline phones where you had to twist.
The twisties.
Yeah. So these kids nowadays, they don't know. So listen to us. We sound like get off our lawn or park type people. Yeah. All right. Foods, like to cook. Any particular food that you guys are quote unquote addicted to, obsessed with, that you can, if you got stranded on a desert island for the rest of your life?
Well,
here's the thing.
I feel like anyone listening that knows me, if I don't give this answer, will be like, Tiff, you weren't honest up there.
Liar! Liar!
Yeah, so I go through phases where I wake up in the middle of the night and eat. And but I think maybe...
It's called being a human being. An adult, where we stress and we take it out.
Well, I'm just hungry.
Right, you forget to eat dinner. Yeah, I
definitely ate dinner. Yeah. I just decided to eat again. So although Chris got really...
Your stomach just... Is that a bear or is... Oh, it's me.
Chris was not happy during the ice cream phase because that would do the little clink to the bowl. He's like, will you shut the door? Because I just hear clink, clink, clink.
What flavor ice cream?
Oh, it's vanilla.
Yeah,
always
so's Erica.
vanilla.
Erica loves vanilla. Yeah.
But my go-to...
Maple syrup, chocolate syrup.
Oh, that's good. Sometimes.
M&M's, Snickers, just sprinkles.
Vanilla.
Straight.
Vanilla with the whipped cream. So that's my go-to. I'll get up in the middle of the night and I have 5 spoonfuls of whipped cream.
In the most delightful way.
Yeah, well, and then the added challenge is in my groggy state is to not let it. You got to get it as high as you can on.
What's groggy? Like the eyelids are like half shut.
Well, it's like 2 a.m.
Right.
I stumbled out and I'm just like, and I do have the light on and I'm like, I hope I don't drop my whipped cream. But then I put it on. You got to get it because it's only 5, so you try to maximize and you get as tall as you can without falling over.
Right.
And I've never dropped one.
Right. No ice cream should be wasted.
Yeah. Well, that ice cream
beer,
or the
no beer
or the
should be wasted. No
cream.
bags of chips should be wasted. Nothing.
But yeah, we'll pretty much just do a lot of. We're big veggie salad eater.
Right.
We're just big eaters.
Now, have been.
Always. I think often we were just talking about it. I'm like, imagine if I didn't eat so much. Like, food budgets would be a lot lower. I just eat a lot. So
yeah.
Get really hungry.
Yeah. Shout out to all the places that are restaurant owners now with food prices like always going up, distribution. I mean, the cost of living in general is always going up,
Gotta just go with it. And we have a we've got, this is our one friend gifted us some of hers last year, and that's how we found out about it. We've been having the best veggies all summer from Evening Song Farm, who actually delivers their CSA twice a week, right? Like here at the school. you just pick up and love that.
That's
so
fantastic.
We've had really good food all summer.
That's fantastic. Anything else on your end, comparing notes? Any other significant events, life events that you guys can report of?
So those that can't see, Sammy B and I both showed up here unknowingly today with almost the same exact, different colors, but same exact
it's composition. Oh my gosh. Oh,
composition notebook.
Do you have black permanent marker like tasks to complete? What do I have to complete? I didn't write anything in
some
here.
of them, but I put my name in all of, writing markers.
Look at that.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
So,
holy cow. This is actually an old, wow. So I still have paper in this. This is crazy. This is a book that I started 10 years ago that used to be my calendar of when band rehearsals with my bands back in Connecticut were going to happen or not.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Hence why it says this person out, that person out. Nobody needs to know that. But anyways, that's, So
the only thing here, I'm looking down at the bottom of my notes. And
here, let's show the camera really quickly. See, we're reading, folks.
That's good.
And now we're staring back. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Was this to say a special extra shout out to you?
Yes, shout out.
It has been such a delight to know both you and Erica in Denver over the years. And
thank you.
Truly, you were such a huge influence on the success of the park this summer. And it really, I can tell you as a person, as a manager, as going through all of that was just like such a huge lift this year. And you really brought so much spirit into us when we needed it. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you.
So yeah.
Well,
and
like yourself
so
being
much,
thank you. Like yourself being a positive light. I've always tried to, even in dark days, because we all have dark days and we all have crap going on. Being a human being, I think it's better to be positive and better to laugh.
Yeah.
And be helpful.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that's lost, to kind of add on to that, I talk about this with my mom all the time. I think there is, in a lot of ways in the world that we live in nowadays, and I don't know if it's a combination of a lot of things between everybody being stressed out, technology, we're all frantically running around. I think there's a lack of old school manners, like saying please and thank you, holding the door open for people. Not be afraid to give someone a hug to uplift them or whatever. So I still try to approach things from that old school perspective. And if I could just be a bright light of any possible way, whether that's smile to someone or strike up a fun conversation, whether we're meeting each other for the first time, I'm sure you feel exactly the same way of how you want to approach day-to-day existence as well too. But it's been a pleasure knowing you guys for a couple of years also too. And I look forward to volunteer work again next year.
Oh my gosh.
Leaf blower. I hope that leaf blower doesn't kick the bed.
Hopefully it won't be such a big pine cone year. We were all talking about that. Yeah, we're like, wow, that's a lot of pine cones.
I swear there was one time we went swimming and I showed her, Erica, that is, a spot that a day before, where I blown all the pine cones and everything, and she goes, "You missed the spot." I'm like, "Geez, I'm in the doghouse again." I can't help what a tree or the wind does. The night before. Oh man, is there anybody else you want to send the shout out to, family wise or friend wise? The floor is yours.
Oh gosh, well, I think. I can just say, there's just so many people in our lives that have that help facilitate this. Everything that Chris and I do is because we have so many other people around us supporting us, and from our friends in Waterbury, Center, Plainfield, down here, all of our neighbors, wherever we are. That's the thing. All of our dear friends, we've had. We always have our family, and then we have our chosen family. And that's one of the things that spoke to us so much with Vermont. It was the first place we went where we understood what that feeling of community could be like, to be a part of other things with other people. And that was a feeling we didn't want to let go of. So this is the first place that we started coming back to, or continued to come back to. And then, now we call it home. So there's just truly everything. When our next adventure coming up is to go to Tasmania, Australia. hopefully see the
When are you
Tasmania.
When are you going there?
November 3rd. So flying out. So if you want to follow any of that.
How long are you guys going out for?
Just about 6 weeks.
Oh, very nice. And then you'll be right back into the thick of things with Maine.
And then, yeah, we'll get right up to Maine. But, with that, our dear friends up in Waterbury Center and Plainfield help us, facilitate that as well. So we couldn't do this without all the other people around us that cheer us on and help support that.
That's well said. And I would think with your guys' efforts over the years at the park and the positivity on social media, that your chosen family continues to expand. And it's got to be a good feeling.
There's just like
like my hair. In 6 months, I went from buzz to this. A chia pet. Yeah. Last question.
Yeah.
And I hope to have you back for a second episode, probably next year. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Advice to anyone from a work or inspirational perspective. If there's anything that you've gained in your time on this, little green and blue planet that's been around for 4.5 billion years, if someone's like down or depressed, and again, it could be personal, it could be work-wise, is there any like motivational advice you can give to anybody out there that's listening that might be going through a little bit of a tough patch?
Yeah, good question. I'll just take a moment to think about it. But I feel like I know my answer.
There's a squirrel that's running across, so don't lose your train of thought. No.
And I guess so. Two things. One is one person that I go to that I listen a lot to when I'm having those feelings or and looking for someone else to help lift me up. I really have resonated with a lot of Simon Sinek's work. He's Google, but he wrote the book, Start With Why, Leaders Eat Last, all of that. So but I think to your question, I feel that for myself, whenever I have felt that, the more I've tried to caveat, take care of yourself, like you matter, you're very valuable too, all of that. But like the more you just continue to try to give to someone else, I've always felt I've gotten way more back, and that has just like picked me up so much from that and helped get me to where I want to go. So again, you matter, you're valuable, like take care, don't sacrifice yourself, but find a way to give of yourself to others.
Yeah. And also not necessarily look for compliments after doing it also too. Kind of do it quietly.
Yeah.
You realize always in the back of your head that by helping others, it makes you look better, but that's ultimately not the reason why you're doing it. It's going to benefit you in the long run, but you get the instant gratification of I made someone's day better by helping them.
And it doesn't matter what just always do your best.
Yeah.
I feel like the more I can just take pride in whatever I did, like the care. I think too, it doesn't matter if it's like, it does matter, but like if it's what's going to say
on a scale of 1 to 10,
a human being, a pet, or an innate object, but just truly like. I just think that like to take the value, like the energy that goes into making, it's just like there, for everything you put out, there's something back, and there's been energy to use this notebook and pen we've been using. I want to honor the energy that was put to that. So
there's time taken with anything that you do.
Yeah.
And with that comes a little bit of you that's put into it. So in a way, everything is sort of art. That's art. The Buddha statues, art. Yeah. This podcast is art. What Okemo Valley TV does for so many people that are using their services for content and everything, that's art.
That's amazing.
And in a way, it's a labor of love, which I think a lot of us have to remember that life is too short, and we should be devoting, maybe not necessarily full-time, but at the very least, hobby-wise, volunteer, or like part-time making money, something that gives us pleasure. Because we all have time on this planet to potentially try some things that don't give us a lot of pleasure.
Right.
But hence the self-care and self-awareness, always looking into doing something that gives you joy and pleasure.
Yeah.
Could be as simple as holding the door open for something. That gives someone joy. That's a labor of love. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Greeting someone as they're driving into Plymouth State Park. It gives them joy. Riding your bike around. Oh, hey. Yeah, it gives you joy. Yeah. Chasing the geese away on Golfy.
Yeah. That's right. Healthy.
Tiffany, I know we got a little, I know this was like a sarcastic, it's always like a fun, sarcastic conversation that we have.
Yeah.
But it did get serious and sentimental for some time during this Hour Plus podcast interview. And on behalf of everyone here and myself, I thank you for taking the time to come here.
Oh gosh, thank you, Sammy B.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you for just everything that you continue to grow, create. Your ripple is long reaching. So thank you for having me be a part of that.
The feeling is mutual, my friend. And you guys, we hit the quarter of a century mark, like I mentioned in the monologue. That's a radio term, I know. Anyways, the introduction, episode number 25 of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B, with your host, Sammy Blanchett. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Okemo Valley TV. We'll catch you all next time.
Don't you worry now, my darling. Woo!
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. You can watch all the episodes of this podcast on Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. You can visit their website, okemovalley.tv, consider downloading their mobile app, or watch them on live television via VTEL, channel 166 and 167, Comcast 1076 and 1086. Are you interested in supporting a local media station? Please consider becoming a member today. Visit okemovalley.tv for more information.